Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Bashem Rakak Wadash. My name is Yakalba from Plain Tables Camp in Philly. I don't know if you heard about this. This happened a few months ago, March 10th. Ryan Coogler, the Black Panther director and Fruitville station director, was detained, him and his family, because, well, let the video show. But this just proves that, you know, even if you make it, you're still looked at as a threat and the enemy. I'm talking about you Israelites, all right, mainly you black men. All right, you're looked at as the criminal on the earth. Well, meanwhile, Esau just escapes. But he getting exposed. He getting exposed too. But the tribes in general. But Judah's pointed out amongst the tribes as being the worst person or people on the planet. All right, so we're gonna let this video play.
Ryan Coogler, handcuffed by police after being mistaken for a robber at an Atlanta bank. This incident was all caught on camera. ABC Steve Olsensami is in Atlanta with more and what the bank is saying. This was a shocking, a bizarre, and really unfortunate incident here. Steve.
Good morning to you, TJ. This is the Bank of America branch where this movie director was trying to withdraw cash. Atlanta police this morning would like to underline that they were just responding to a call of a bank robbery and say that there was even a car running and waiting outside these bank doors.
Hey, sir. Hey, man. Do me a favor, man. What's going on, man?
Bank of America this morning is saying that what you're seeing in this police body camera video should never have happened.
You got weapons on you, buddy? I got nothing on me, bro.
On January 7th, people working at one of their banks on the north end of Atlanta called police, saying that the man seen here in the green sweatshirt being put in handcuffs was trying to rob the bank, which wasn't true at all.
If you just run my name, you understand why you should take me off these cuffs.
What the bank didn't immediately realize is that this is 35-year-old.
All right, but that shouldn't matter who the hell he is, That shouldn't matter. Let me get this scripture real quick. This is Deuteronomy 28:37. And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all nations, whether Yahweh shall lead thee. All right, because we broke the covenant. You broke the covenant. Let's go to the 15th verse, Deuteronomy 28:15. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou would not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All right, go back down to, and this was a black woman. They called the police. She was just, she couldn't believe that she got handed a note with instructions and an ID and a debit card to verify her identity. All those three things, she still looked at him as a criminal. All right, he handed a note to the teller with instructions on how he wanted the money, and he didn't want it to be out in the public. I mean, he wanted to go like to an office or something. Like when you get like inheritance money, like I've gotten inheritance, when I was 18 or whatever, I think 18, and we didn't conduct business up front. We conducted it, in the office. All right. So that's what the note said. It said, can we go, I guess, to a side office so you can give me the money or whatever. And he gave him the ID and the debit card verification and all that. And this dumb bitch calls the police and said we're being robbed. But it don't matter who the fuck he is. All right, we skip all that. The links will be in the description box. All right, it shouldn't matter who he is. Now look, this. I was surprised it was a black woman. Now that's my fault. That's my bad. I shouldn't be surprised that a black woman called the cops on another so-called black man. All right, y'all can put the appropriate scriptures in for that. I'm not. When it comes to the black woman. Let's go. Play. Meet the mic.
I'd like to be discreet. The bank teller and nearly every other person in this incident was also African American, but she.
I think this is the woman right here. A complete fucking dummy. She deserves to be fired for this. It's called banking while black. And some of the most racist people you'll ever meet is going to be black women and black men against their own the people of their own tribe. All right, and this woman right here, boy, I tell you, just stay away from her. If at all possible, just stay away. All right, so when you start talking, that give you enough information that whether you need to proceed or run. All right, let me go back a little bit. Customer service. What are you? Oh, goodness.
Bank teller and nearly every other person in this incident was also African American, but she didn't recognize that he was a famous Hollywood director. In the police videos, she tells officers that when she asked questions, he kept quietly pointing her to the note.
He just kept pointing. He's like, look at the note. So I'm like, okay. And so I said, do you have your ID? He did give me his ID. It was a California ID, but my...
So is banking based upon trust or verification? Dumb bitch. Is banking based upon trust or verification? Her stomach turned. Women don't need to be in charge of much, all right. And I'm starting to think customer service is not the spot place for women, but specifically certain type of women. All right. He did give me his ID, so is banking based upon just trust, or is banking based upon verification and trust? She's just going based upon trust, not verification. He did give it. I'm not on mute, am I? He did give me his ID. It was a California ID, but my stomach started turning. Just seemed odd. So the stars have to align for you to feel okay about a situation. Now, this has actually happened to me. I was banking while black. I'm a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. I just left New York from Manhattan, drove 2 hours to get to the supermarket to get a money order for my rent. And then this old black woman questions my debit card. Right? She asked to see my ID. I give her my ID, and she says she doesn't feel comfortable because she's never heard of my bank. But I'm not supposed to be mad, all right? And then you got people that's they're wise asses. They think they know what it means to experience this, to experience discrimination, especially from your own people, all right? If you've never been discriminated against, you need to shut the fuck up. All right, especially by someone of your own damn tribe. He did give me his ID. It was a California ID, but my stomach started turning. Just seemed odd.
Stomach started turning. I'm like, okay, it just seems odd.
She also says he gave them his Bank of America account card, but they still called police.
I have police en route. Can you see? Are you able to see if he's still there?
I don't want to really turn the corner.
When police came, they explained in their report that they determined this was a, quote, mistake by Bank of America, and that Mr. Coogler was never...
No, this wasn't a mistake. This was complete discrimination because he was a so-called black man.
Hey, sir.
Oh, it happened in January 7th. This is the actual date, January 7th, 2022. I didn't hear about this. All right, but the video was uploaded March 10th. All right, so.
Hey, man. Do me a favor, man. Come this way. Whoa. Put your hand behind your back. Hands on my back. Got it. You got it. Is there any reason y'all doing this, bro? Give me 1 second. Hold on. Is that him with the green flag? No, sir. Hey, 204 and everything. Fellas, I really should do it. What's going on, my man? Trying to put money on my own. You said what? Yeah, this your phone? It is, sir.
Good job, guys.
did the officers explain what's going on while we're out here?
Not really, man.
All right, so we got a
Yeah,
call
I heard somebody ask me if I passed a note.
Yeah.
This might have been one of these dudes.
So basically, we got a call, and from what we got the call, it seemed like someone was trying to rob the bank. Something about you passing a note to the teller, something to that effect. Can you just tell me what's going on? Or?
Yeah, bro. It's a medical assistant that works in my house that prefers to be paid in cash. Every time I make a withdrawal to pay her, you know, because it's a large amount, she works a lot.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't write down on a note how much I went out, and then I don't want it ran through the money counter right there at the desk, the whole bank ends up looking at it because they just know money's going to get the money to the account.
Okay, so this is the thing. The teller, she started to freak out, so she didn't even match the accounts with his ID that she gave him.
Did you hear that? The teller, this wretched demon didn't do her job. That's what he just said. And he was one of the officers that, you know, that I guess pulled the Glock out and that arrested him. Go back a little bit. There you go.
Money to the account.
Okay, so this is the thing. The teller, she started to freak out, so she didn't even match the accounts with his ID that she gave him. So I need to double check to see if that's even the account, his account. See what I'm saying? Because if that is his account, then what is he doing that's wrong? See what I'm saying?
It's the note.
Beside the note.
So if you didn't hear him, he said the bank teller didn't verify his identity. So all she was going on is trust. Banking is both trust and verification. She just did, oh, I don't believe this man is has this much money in this account, or doesn't have an account with us, or this is not his money. He's trying to rob the bank, because the note gives instructions on how he wants the money. That's the only thing she was going on. She didn't verify the account. He provided his ID. He provided his debit card.
While they're getting you guys out of handcuffs, hold on.
I stated to the officers that arrested me that had their Glocks out.
Yeah.
That I was pulling money on my own account.
I understand.
I put my own bank card in there before they let you in the back. You know what I'm saying?
So we have to confirm that. You gotta understand. We don't come out because of the seriousness of the call. We don't just come out, and unfortunately, in a situation like that, you don't get the benefit of the doubt. We detain and then we ask questions later. That's exactly what I went inside for. You can take them out. The other people that are handcuffed.
Yeah, I got it.
Is that it's called banking while black. Banking while black. All right. In another video, Chris, he said he got the vaccine. Oh shit. Hold on. Let's let this play.
Count somewhere else. I'd like to be discreet. The bank teller and nearly.
Basically, what for high-profile clients, you got to set up you got to call before. That's what you're supposed to do. I think you're supposed to call before, and then you meet, you know, the banker in the office, and then they'll distribute the money. That's the proper way to do it. But he said since he's been doing it that way all this long time and never had a problem, that's why he continued to do it. So, well, he learned a little valuable lesson there. A few valuable lessons.
Every other person in this incident was also African American, but she didn't recognize that he was a famous Hollywood director. In the police videos, she tells officers that when she asked questions, he kept quietly pointing her to the note.
He just kept pointing. He's like, look at the note. So I'm like, okay. And so I said, do you have your ID? He did give me his ID. It was a California ID. But my stomach started turning. I'm like, okay, it just seems odd.
She also says he gave them his Bank of America account card, but they still called police.
I have police en route. Can you see? Are you able to see if he's still there?
I don't want to really turn the corner.
When police came, they explained in their report that they determined this was a, quote, mistake by Bank of America, and that Mr. Coogler was never in the wrong. He and the two people he was here with were released.
I stated to the officers that arrested me that had that Glocks out.
Yeah.
That I was pulling money out of my own account.
I understand. We have to confirm that because of the seriousness of the call, we don't just come out, and unfortunately in a situation like that, you don't get the benefit of the doubt. We detain and then we ask questions later.
In a statement, Bank of America says that we deeply regret that this incident occurred. We have apologized to Mr. Coogler. The director tells ABC News that Bank of America worked with me and addressed it to my satisfaction, and we have moved on.
Banks often have thresholds for withdrawals that trigger warning.
On January 7th, people here in the green sweatshirt being...
You understand why you should take me off these cuts?
What the bank didn't immediately realize is that this is to rob bank.
Okay. All right. So you pretty much get that. So we have a bad reputation, especially the tribe of Judah has a extremely bad reputation when it comes to being thieves, murderers, rapists, all that. Even amongst our own people that look exactly like us. All right. And again, I was a victim of this banking while black. Twice, I think. Yeah. And it was a black. Both were black women. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all nations, whether Yahweh shall lead thee. All right. We got a person, a byword. Did I read byword? Yeah, right there. An outstanding example of a criminal, an outstanding example of a liar. All right. A person or thing cited as a notorious and outstanding example, the embodiment of something. All right. I don't need to explain that. And we're going to move on. All right. So that's the curse we're under. All right. So I'll leave that there. So hope you edified. Shalom to the next lesson.